Yeah, just an off day, day game after night game, another long stretch, 6 in a row for him, and just a day off.
And same with McCann.
Yes.
Will you continue to kind of match Cervelli and Green up together? I know you had talked about it in the past, but
I have, and it's worked out. It's worked out pretty well. It's worked out day games after night games, and it's a way to give Brian a day off. And as I've said, when you're familiar with a guy and you're catching him all the time, I think sometimes it's easier on both.
is there anything new with Teixeira today?
No, had the stitches. He'll be day by day. I have not seen him yet today, but he'll be day by day, and we'll see how many days he needs here.
You don't foresee him being available off the bench today, do you?
I wouldn't think so, no.
George?
Teixeira was pretty critical about the rule at home plate. He doesn't understand it. It's sometimes called, sometimes not. Is that the one thing that needs to be fixed in this whole?
Well, I've said all along that I think it's probably been the most confusing change that we've had. I think for the most part, it has worked because catchers aren't getting run over, which I think is a really good thing. But I think sometimes, players are a little bit confused. In watching the play, he was not blocking the plate without the baseball, and then he caught it and he stepped in, and that's what catchers are allowed to do. But when you do that, you're allowed to run them over. But a lot of times things happen so fast, you're not sure what happens as a player.
Sweeney?
Joe, like you said, catchers aren't being run over, so that's pretty much
A plus,
the idea of
yes.
this. But what are you teaching your base runners? Like, what are you telling them?
Well, we basically told them if they're blocking the plate, you can run them over. That's the bottom line. That really hasn't changed for a base runner in a sense. You don't want guys to really go out of their way to get someone if you don't have to. You'd rather them slide because whenever you run someone over, you take the chance of getting hurt too. But we basically told them, if you got a chance to slide, slide. And if you feel that they're blocking home plate and you got to do something else, go ahead.
And I know it's not over because you're facing a good pitcher today, but just getting through the last 3 days with all the Cy Young winners, what do you think?
Well, we've played pretty good baseball. And I look at the job that our pitching staff has done, and it's been very, very good against a club that knows how to score runs. So it doesn't get any easier today. He kind of flies under the radar because of the names, but he's pitched as well as anyone over there, Porcello. So great sinker, and he's become a complete pitcher now, where he mixes all 4 pitches now, and he's different than when he first came up.
Meredith?
Joe, what do you like about Headley at first base instead of a McCann or a Prado or anybody else?
Well, he's number one. He's used to taking ground balls. It's something that he does, and whether you look at Prado or you look at Headley, neither one of them have a ton of experience over there. But when I talked to both of them, I gave Chase a little bit more of a heads up than Martin. So he's played over there a couple times, so I thought I would keep it that way.
Michael?
When the Yankees got Chase Headley, Brian Cashman said he's just an average third baseman. Was he wrong?
Well, he's played extremely well for us. And obviously we don't get a chance to watch him every day, and sometimes you appreciate a person a lot more when you get a chance to see him every day. And it can be by, the ratings that, the companies put out there in a sense. So he has played an outstanding third base. He has a very good pair of hands over there, and he showed the ability to make a lot of tough plays.
Kenny?
Joe, do you have a starter for tomorrow night?
No, it will depend on today. And it's probably something we'll talk to, amongst ourselves after the game and put it out there.
George?
Is that pitcher here?
Well, he very well could be, but it depends what I need today, It could change very quickly if I had to use our whole bullpen.
Dave?
Tanaka played catch. I assume too soon for you to get a report on that, but
Correct.
Assuming all goes well, what would the next step be?
Catch. He's got to get built up to probably 120 feet. I think he was 60, 90 today, so it'll be a couple days at that, and then we'll take the next step.
Michael?
Joe, you're starting Drew at short and Ryan at second. Since Drew's going to be playing mostly second for you, did you think about doing it the other way?
Well, actually, Brendan has probably played more second than Drew in his lifetime. So I thought I'd see how this looks, and we'll go from there. I mean, the next time I might do it the other way, but I thought I would see how it looks.
Brian in the front.
Joe, with Tanaka, are you going to have him do everything here, or is there going to be a point where he goes down to Tampa?
Well, I think there'll be a point, hopefully there's a point where we have to send him on rehab starts, but right now he's going to stay with us.
Kenny.
Just to clarify that, so he'll go to Baltimore with you guys?
Correct.
Michael.
Joe, is there any way, any scenario whatsoever that you would have Pineda start tomorrow here?
No, he's starting in Scranton tomorrow.